website so that if you choose to use this video in your classrooms when you're working with students or review things that you might have missed, it's always accessible to you. So we put it on a YouTube MP4, throw it on our YouTube channel, and then we put the link, PowerPoint, and all the resources on Macomb Engage website for you. So the first thing I want to start off today is to show a quick video. In my school counselor career nerdy way, I'm always looking at billboards and advertisements and the news and the newspaper. I'm trying to completely immerse myself in all things and all trends when it comes to helping with career readiness in our students. And just the other day, this was a great short clip, and there's a huge shout out in there for counselors. So I wanted to start off today on a really positive note to show you that the work you do is having a great impact, and the news picked up on it. So here you go.
Now to a higher education shift, to more students opting out of a college degree. Higher education enrollment fell some 2.5% in the fall of 2020, and then by another 2.7% in the fall of 2021. 7 Action News reporter Kiara Hay going in depth with the impact on universities and what students are turning to instead.
The cost of a college degree has many people wanting to bypass a bachelor's and get into the trades. College enrollment is crashing across the country. For nearly a decade, the number of people trying to obtain a 4-year or 2-year degree has been on a steady decline. The pandemic only causing a deeper nosedive, according to the National Student Clearhousing Research Center. In 2009, Central Michigan University had nearly 25,000 people enrolled. Fast forward to 2020, it was down to 17,000. To accommodate the dwindling demand, CMU making the decision to temporarily close 4 of its residence halls in the fall of 2022.
I got accepted to University of Michigan.
While attending Roseville High School, Lauren Burns says all his teachers pushed him to attend a 4-year university. But instead, he opted to work with his hands, trading in an expensive bachelor's degree for trade school.
Get paid to go to school. All your tuition's free, books are free, you get paid to learn. This is a paid day for me.
It seems more people are making that switch.
More people are coming to the trades right now.
Steve McCool is an instructor at the Detroit Carpenter and Millwright Training Center. He attends job fairs and says in the past 5 years, he's noticed more people taking an interest in trade jobs again. One of the main reasons?
Counselors really saying now go into the trades instead of pushing just to go to college.
But college enrollment is not down everywhere in Michigan. Both Eastern Michigan University and U of M say their incoming undergraduate class are bigger than before the pandemic. Either way, Burns believes he made the right choice, and he wants others to know there are different paths towards success.
I got no complaints about it. I really enjoy the union.
If you would like to learn more on how to get into a trade school or about a program that can help pay for your college tuition, head to our website at wxyz.com. In Southfield, Kiara Hay, 7 Action News.
Thank you so much.
So that was really exciting. Shout out to Roosevelt. I saw Kelly. Do you recognize that young man? Awesome. So that was really exciting to see the other day. And it was like mic drop moment when the union rep, Mr. McCool, mentioned, what do we attest this movement to? And that's counselors. We're not in competition with colleges as counselors. We simply want our students all to find their unique path and know that it's not a one size fits all. So that was really exciting to see the news react to that. We do see numbers changing at university enrollment, but we know for as many kids as enroll, that enrollment number looks good, but how many are coming home and they're looking for that pathway that they weren't prepared to pursue. So just really quick, Marissa, if my computer goes down, just take over with your PowerPoint and then I'll log back in. I'm having a weird, of course, right? You know.
Yeah, no problem, Sarah. Our internet has been wonky also, so same goes to you.
Got it. Okay.
If I don't. Thank
All
you.
right, so that was super fun. Yeah, and Shannon, thank you. Shannon Williams is on today, our CT consultant. She said, shout out to the Building Trades Roadshow. They've spent, and you all have joined us in the last probably 5-6 years in visiting and committing yourselves to learning about those different opportunities. So let's get rolling with my perspective on construction trades and getting your students access into the construction trades. First of all, this is a reminder about our MacomBEngage.org website. Shannon Williams and myself are committed to building this as robust as possible with the most up-to-date and user-friendly information for you as you're working with your students. The goal is that you have one place to go to instead of feeling the pressure to visit all of those different sites and take pieces and forget what's out there. I mean, we are inundated with career readiness stuff. It is everywhere, and everybody has a different kind of spin or their shtick to try to make it enticing and easy for students and parents and educators to bring that information to our students. And so we really want you to know that you just can go to our website and know that there's going to be a lot of resources for you, and you can use this in classroom presentations. There's PDFs on great career pathway guides. There's all sorts of things on here, and that's also where these videos are going as well. So let's talk about the construction trades pathway. In my work in and out of Wayne County and in and out of Macomb County, the construction trades pathway is the most popular and well, I would say, promoted trade outside of getting a four-year university. Out of that list, I always had students, and I've worked with quite a few, and they all want to become electricians. There's something about becoming an electrician, I think, that especially in Michigan, especially this week, being able to work indoors, it doesn't appear to be as labor intensive. It obviously takes a lot of skill, high math level, but I would have to say, out of all the construction trades pathway, my students all want to become electricians. It seems to be the most popular. But what I try to do is explain to students that there's lots of different opportunities for them to enter into the construction trades pathway, and they can find their niche while they're working as a general contractor, working in different types of carpentry. There's all sorts of those different paths. I'm just going to be very honest in this episode of Career Spotlight today. The access points for construction trades is very difficult, I have found, for students. And I have found not a lot of success in my students who don't have a ton of experience or exposure being able to go from diploma straight into that trade and feeling confident in having a lot of success. We have a significant amount of initiatives. I'm proud of all of the companies and the unions that are putting together promotional material and doing all those things to entice our students. But the truth behind all of it is that access point where they can leave high school and start to actually work in these trades seems to be very difficult and loaded with a lot of barriers. I don't have the answers, but I just want to be real and share that with you. We know the work is there. We know it's in demand, but we know there's great wages to go along with it. But we know that our students really struggle to jump right into it. So I'm going to share with you a few of my observations. Again, I don't have all the answers, but just maybe things that we can work on as a collective body to increase this opportunity for students and help them matriculate into that industry better. We know that the median hourly wages in construction are going to be rising. Inflation's up. Construction trades tends to be recession proof when it comes to working on buildings and structures. Not necessarily recession proof when it comes to building new homes, but buildings and structures and all sorts of different things that we interact with every day need to be upgraded and maintained. So it is a pretty recession proof career for people, especially if they can get into some work that is considered elite and highly skilled. The median wages are going up, and there's all those little different types of career pathways underneath construction trades that students aren't aware of that are always in demand and that are looking to teach and train. The lowest paid field worker generally is a carpenter in the beginning, and they often make more than a first-year teacher with a four-year degree. So the money and the demand is there. The Bureau of Labor and Statistics reported that the wages are at their highest level in over the last decade. The hourly earnings are really, really high, and we know it's going to continue to grow. So we want to encourage, I think money talks, especially with a high school senior. I always try to throw these facts out to them and encourage them to see, like, what is your desired lifestyle? And does this particular career pathway support that lifestyle, at least financially? And we know that it does. We also know that construction trades is transferable across the country and across the world. So in the process, the various construction trades pathways culminating degree is a journeyman's card. So students can start off in an apprenticeship style or in a direct work environment where they're working under, we'll say, a master plumber or a master electrician. And those students over time can still accumulate a journeyman's card. They don't necessarily have to go through a union training facility to get the journeyman card. So the entry points are all different, but they all end up in the same place if you're being mentored and you're being supervised with somebody who holds a journeyman status. So that's important to know. There's a long wait list, I'm not gonna lie, for DEITC, which is the big electrical union training facility that many of you've gone to with the construction trades, with the roadshow. And they're at least a 2-year wait list, and they tell us that. And our students also have to take an exam that is about the equivalent of getting a B in Algebra 2. So if they get to the point where they take the exam and then they get to the interview, they still might be on a wait list. It all depends on the work and the union's demand in that area. So what do our students do for those 2 years while they're waiting, hoping to get the call, or as I say, hoping to get drafted to the big leagues? So we don't want them to have these gap years. We want them to have, looking at the multiple access points, but then when the big leagues do call, we want them to be at the ready to take advantage of that really lucrative and really awesome opportunity. So here's the access points for construction trades. There's all sorts of them, and they all look different, and everybody's got an opinion about them. You talk to somebody who's been in the union for 30 plus years, they're gonna say one thing. You talk to somebody who's worked for a bidder, maybe a company in which they felt didn't take care of them, they're gonna have a different opinion. So it's really, I encourage you not to get sucked into some elder statesmen and their opinions if they're at a certain point in their career, because they all kind of have something to say, and oftentimes they're tired and they can be a little negative and bitter. So I ask that you don't let that change your attitude and your thoughts about how you can best support your students in this pathway. So we know that in our region, in the Southeast Michigan region, we have lots and lots of opportunities, and they all offer something a little bit different. So you'll see the different access points for students as they want to enter into the construction trades arena. And how do we pick the best one for our graduates? And also, how do we make sure we're coaching them and pushing them, because they all require something different. That's also probably one of the biggest difficult things about the construction trades. So let's talk about the community college. As I've mentioned before, I had the pleasure of working for Wayne Risa for many years. Wayne Risa has Henry Ford, Wayne County Community College, Schoolcraft College, Wayne State, Washtenaw is just on the other side of the border. And then I'm very schooled and obviously have a lot of experience in the Macomb County region and up in the Flint area with Mott Community College and that. So what I want you to know, community colleges are tricky when it comes to the construction trades, because community colleges all have a specialty. Some we'll use Macomb Community College, for example, they have their areas that they offer, and but they don't have a lot when it comes to the power and trades. So linemen, if you participated with me with energy last month, you notice Lansing Community College is the place to send a kid if they want to work in with electricity and be a lineman. So if you're a Macomb County counselor and there's something your student wants to pursue in the construction trades and you're not seeing it at Macomb, I want to encourage you to look at what Wayne County colleges have to offer and the colleges in the different region, the community colleges, because they all have like their area specialty. And a lot of it is based on region and what that's like the big industry in that region, but they always are recruiting from outside the county. One of the barriers is you're going to look at the student may have to pay out of county tuition, but if they're a TIP or FAFSA eligible student, there's going to be a huge offset to that cost. And it's a shorter program, so we're not sending a student away for 4 years still and having that high tuition cost. So community colleges offer things like carpentry basics, welding certificates, construction management. You'll see Ferris State does a lot of the construction management in the advanced welding inspector and things like that. Building facilities maintenance, energy, electrical, HVAC, you name it. So community colleges all have these. They offer these in certificate and community education, continuing education programs. the benefit of sending your student from high school, especially those that don't have like a hookup or a job or experience, is that it's a more gentle exposure to the construction trades pathway, and they're going to be still in the safe, nurturing learning environment versus being thrown onto the job and here's a broom and figure it out. So the benefits, we know it's affordable. There's a FAFSA Pell Grant, funds can be applied at the community college. And that is if the student is entering a credit bearing program. So a student can get a certificate in welding and they can have the credits count toward a degree, or they can get a continuing education certificate in something, but that continuing education certificate is not eligible for FAFSA and Pell Grant funds. There's other funding sources, but they can't use their FAFSA. So I encourage, if you have students especially eligible for Pell and TIP funds that want to go into the construction trades, to look at getting them in those certificate programs at the community colleges. But my Macomb County counselors in the room, I want to encourage you, take a look at Henry Ford, take a look at Schoolcraft, take a look at Washtenaw, Wayne County Community College. Unfortunately, we don't have regional transportation. Our students have to get there. But if there's not a program that Macomb offers, I want you to look at those other places because they have a lot of great opportunities. Another benefit of sending them to the community college for construction trades is that they can attend on a semester schedule versus the trade school model, which is an all-in. I'll use an example of a family member of mine that went, and this is not construction related, but went to cosmetology school. And when you register for a trade school, you have to basically pay upfront your entire tuition, and you have to be committed that you're in it for the long haul. Well, we know kids change their mind, young adults change their mind, and things don't feel right. And if they feel resistance or they don't have the grit to stick it out, they've just paid for an entire program up front that they've decided they don't like. So that's very troubling because it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Whereas at a community college model, in the model that Marissa is going to share with you from SEMCA, they pay to play. So each semester, if they decide they want to change programs, change lanes, they're really just out that money from that semester, and they have the ability to move to the next program. And sometimes some of those initial courses will align, and those credits will transfer to that new program. So unless a student is madly in love and they feel like 3,000% confident that that's the place for them. But if you have a wavering student, I would be very, I would caution you to at least explain to them, once you're in, you're in. So you have to understand that money can't come back. And if you don't make it through the program, you've expired all these funds and you have nothing to show for it. And obviously community colleges are community-based. They have a lot of career services opportunities for students, and there's a lot of great stuff for them. And helping them go back every time they were looking for employment. I love trade schools. I think trade schools are misrepresented. We do not have a lot of trade schools in Macomb County. We have a few. We have Ross and Dorsey. We have a couple medical ones, but we don't have a lot of trade schools in the Macomb County region when it comes to automotive, construction trades, etc. But we do have 81 trade schools in Michigan. That's just a little fun fact for you, and they vary all different types of career pathways. We know that the curriculum with trade schools is usually delivered in less than a full academic year. So I have an example in front of you, which is Northwestern Technological Institute. I just helped a young, a 21-year-old former teacher friend of mine, her son started off at Macomb, wasn't finding his way. I got him connected with Northwestern Tech, and in 10 months, he's done. He's on his last 2 months in the program. He's very happy, and he feels confident that he's going to walk into a job. So for him to take that big shift from community college and doing his prereqs and just kind of feeling like he was spinning his wheels to, he made that shift last summer, jumped in the fall, and he's going to be done here in May. I'm really, really thrilled for him, and he loves the program. Again, as mentioned, your students are going to pay up front for this program, and some of them do not accept FAFSA and some don't. Some do, some don't. So like Northwestern Tech, they accept FAFSA, but their tuition is higher than like a full Pell Grant. So students are going to have to take student loans, but at least FAFSA pays and offsets some of those costs. So why some do and some don't, it depends if they're registered as like an apprenticeship, and Marissa can talk about this a little bit too. It depends where they declare themselves. So if they're like a registered with the Michigan or with the Department of Education at the national level, they can be FAFSA eligible, but some are registered as like apprenticeship programs, and those are not FAFSA eligible. So no, there's not the same, trade schools are not all the same. We know that in trade schools, it's a very diverse population for our students. So there's going to be all walks of life attending trade schools. I know at Northwestern Tech, they have a huge partnership with Michigan Works, a lot of reentry people, a lot of people that are struggling, unemployed, looking for a midlife career change. Michigan Works financially supports their work and their education at Northwestern Tech. And so you're going to see your students entering like a very diverse classroom instead of a lot of younger students going straight into the community college, which is a great thing, right? We know there's a lot of benefits to that. These schools generally are feeders to specific employers. So they just pull the kids from the classroom, the students from the classroom, and they get right into the workforce. This can work against the student though, like I mentioned before, if they change their mind, they're stuck. They don't have to stay, but they've already paid for it. So that can be a little bit tough. So that's a deep conversation that you want to have with your students. So I was privileged to circulate the city of Detroit for a lot of years as a Wayne Risa career counselor. And there's all these pop-up short-term training facilities in various different types of trades, from phlebotomy, vet tech, pharmacy tech. There's a lot going on in the city of Detroit. There's a lot of money, and there's a lot of training facilities. So I want to encourage you, especially my Macomb County counselors, to know that there's these short-term training programs available to maybe your students that aren't ready for even a school year or a 10-month long trade school program. One of the best in the business is the Detroit Training Center. Detroit Training Center is full of a lot of short-term certificate programs. They're not like a certificate you would get from a community college. They're a stackable credential, and they're 6-week programs. They're about less than $500, and there's all sorts of them. They do women in welding. They do all sorts of great, and it's constant. It's not running on a semester schedule. So these classes are coming constantly. So this is the website in front of you. We'll make sure the link is on the Macomb Engage website. But I want you to take a look at this because this is a really good pre-apprenticeship first step for your students. If we can't get them to commit to 10 months or heading over to the community college or going into trade school, that's okay. Maybe they just need to kind of dip their toe in the water and figure it all out. And so I would send them here. This is a great community focused, definitely a great opportunity. So this is, and a lot of these short-term training programs exist. And a lot of them seem to be housed in the city of Detroit just because of the accessibility for the Tri-County area. People from downriver through Washtenaw, through Macomb can get to these different ones. So that's another access point for students. So union construction trades. I'm going to be honest, I have a love-hate relationship with them. I'm just going to keep it real with you because I'm trying to give you the best information possible because I know you have such limited time with your students. I love the unions and what they do in the construction trades arena to commit to exposure, to help our students have hands-on, to interact. They support our work as counselors. And when you saw the WXYZ news clip, they're such advocates for the work that school counselors do. And they are our partners when it comes to career planning and career readiness for our students. However, it is very difficult in my experience, I will say just based on Sarah, it is very difficult for a student to leave high school and get into a union construction trade apprenticeship. I have not had success, and I know people. I've made lots and lots of relationships with the business agents and the people that work with recruitment. And the truth is that students generally have to have some skill. They have to take the work keys test. They have to score. They have to compete with people that are already working on the job that may be looking to go from a non-union employment into the union formalized programs. So it's not that I think what they do is amazing, but in terms of a high school counselor being able to get students in there, I continuously expose students to it. I continuously tell them to apply. It just is a little bit of a different game, if you will, to get in. So what I tell students is make sure that you're doing 2 at the same time. Fill these applications out, go to the interviews, take the work keys test, and continue to go through the application process for the union construction trades. Keep doing it. Every single cycle, apply. But while you're doing that, go to those short-term training programs, or go to a trade school, or go to a community college, and don't take a gap year. And when you get to the point where that phone call rings and you get invited, now you have that much more of an advantage to get into these union construction trades. They're amazing to work for. There's great wages, great benefits, great retirement, all that's great. And they've hosted us so many times in this region. It just seems to be a very difficult, direct path from high school to those particular training facilities. It's not out of reach, and we always want our students to know about them, but we also want them to have multiple things going on. And if you've met Jennifer Mefford, she works for Must Construction Careers, and she's the one that hosts us for the road show. She has said this several times: apply and keep retooling yourself and getting your skills up. And when that phone call comes, then you finish your semester and you go over to them. So she admits that as well. But we are grateful to our unions. They will come to your schools. They will come to your career fairs. They never say no. They bring t-shirts. They're really, really awesome. And they're really big advocates of the work that you do. So if you're looking to do a career fair in your local communities, definitely reach out to them. Here's just a list of some of the ones that are represented. They're all local, as you know, and they're all over the place. And there's many locals in each region of Michigan. I just wanted to share that with you. So here's some resources with the union. And this is what I love the most about our brothers and sisters in the union, is they are committed to education, and they're committed to educating our students, and they're committed to educating you. So these are live linked, but these are 3 excellent resources I would encourage you to access. This guidebook is a big PDF. You can have it printed. You might even be able to call them and they'll mail you a bunch. And it's a little encyclopedia of all the Michigan construction apprenticeship programs and the locals in the state of Michigan, with great descriptions. So it's kind of a good little field manual for you in your office when you're working with students, because all these different jobs.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm not sure if it's just me, but I can't see your screen.
Oh. Can you see?
Aha, there it is. Yes, thank you.
Did it disappear?
It's there. It's there now.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad you interrupted. So, and then the Michigan Building and Construction Trades Council, they have a bunch of resources for you all. And then you should recognize the yellow one, Must Construction and Careers. Must is a collaboration of all the different union trades in this area. And they do some great work introducing students to the trades. They go to our career fairs, and you'll see, I'm not going to go to their links. I think that's what happened. I clicked on a live link on this guidebook and it might have kicked me out. But you'll see this is a one-stop shop, just like Macomb Engage when it comes to construction trades. So pull this up in front of your students. There's great videos. There's all sorts of good stuff. Last but not least, we're going to talk about direct employment and apprenticeships really quick, and then I'm going to hand it over to Marissa. So Going Pro in Michigan, if you're not familiar with this campaign, I think it's the best I've seen. Going Pro talks about all trades, and it takes everything that's in Michigan and it puts it on this website in regards to the trades. They have these a day in the life of videos. They're 1 minute. It can't get any easier than a 1 minute high level overview video, very professionally published. So if you go into classrooms and do presentations, or if you have a student in your office and you want to show them a little bit of a video about the day in the life of a particular trade, it's right there for you. They also have partnered with Michigan Works. I promote Michigan Works like crazy. Michigan Works is a hidden gem when it comes to career readiness for school counselors. Michigan Works is like your soft handoff for your student into adult life, and there's a school counselor-ish on the other side waiting to coach them and take over. You do not have the time nor the bandwidth to coach and keep on all of the students you have in your caseload. But if you have a particular group of students that would benefit from somebody to kind of take over the work that you've done and help finish the job when it comes to getting them into the trades, you need to get them in contact with a Michigan Works agent. There's a young professionals program, which is 14 or ages 16 to 24. And then there's the adult side of Michigan Works from 18 and up. They help them with resumes, they'll place them in jobs, they'll help them with interviews. They help eliminate those barriers that get your students in trouble or off track. So direct employment and apprenticeships, we hear the word apprenticeship everywhere. It is everywhere. We know it's a good model. We know it works, but how does it look for our students? They're tough to get them into, again, at that young age, because an apprentice is expected to be in the field working. Well, how do they get there if they don't know what they're doing? The average age of an apprentice is actually 27 years old. So what do we do from 18 to 27, right? Michigan Works works with the state of Michigan and helps find registered apprenticeship opportunities. And Marissa's going to talk about that as well with her work. Many companies say they want workers, but they feel that our graduates are lacking significant skills in the field. So our students, it's a safety issue. We can't throw a power tool in their hand if they don't know what they're doing. So we need to be able to figure out how they can make that migration over, but be trained. And it's really tough. We don't really see pre-apprenticeship programs. If I won the Powerball, I would build a pre-apprenticeship school. And it would only be pre-apprenticeship in the different trades, because we just don't have like that gentle onboarding in these different skills. We know that in CTE construction trades programs are sporadic. And I know because I've been in 2 counties and 2 very large counties. Some districts have CTE centers. Some districts are on their own and they're running CTE out of their building based on their infrastructure. They're very costly. So sometimes it's based on zip code, whether or not a student has an opportunity to have exposure. And that's really hard. And that makes me really sad for our kids. There's a registered apprenticeship federal website. I just want to make you aware of it. So if there's businesses and organizations that are interested in becoming a registered apprenticeship program, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the construction trades. They can actually register with the U.S. Department of Labor and get some financial support and support in building an apprenticeship program. So before I hand off to Marissa, I'm just going to give you my little political perspective and the gaps. What I'm seeing with students is that they don't have exposure at a young age. So it's a tough sell and it's tough to build their confidence. We don't see our kids often with mom, dad, grandparents working on projects around the home. We do see it, but not like it used to be, because our students are technology ridden, but they're really not engaging in those, learning those basic pre-apprentice skills in the home. We know there's just not a lot of viable pre-apprenticeship opportunities for unexperienced young people. Employers can be harsh on unexperienced young people. So I say to kids, it's like going into the NFL locker room, but you've never played a down of football in high school. Can you imagine how intimidating that can be for a young person? And we tend to, time is money and getting a job completed and liability. Like there's all those barriers for the employer. If we could have some coaches out in the field to support those students, we might find better success. Many students who seek hands-on career might be credit deficient in high school, so they don't have room in their schedule to take a CTE block, or they might not decide till they're a senior in high school that they wanted to take CTE. So that might also be an issue for them if they go to a school with that. Unions are still highly difficult to penetrate. We know our kids sometimes lack with physical work ethic and exposure. So there's lots of access points. And one of my favorite access point is going to spend the rest of the time sharing with you what they have to offer. And it's great because they're located in Madison Heights. So they're accessible to our Macomb County, Wayne County, Oakland County students. So Marissa, it's your screen.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Let me just get everything up and running here.
How long was my screen off? Was it long? I hope.
For a bit. I have to say, I didn't realize for a bit that you were sharing. So I apologize. I would have jumped in sooner.
No, okay. You never know.
I was just listening.
That's okay. I'm not a big PowerPoint person anyway, so you didn't miss much.
Right. So can you see my screen all right?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for having me today. I really appreciate you coming together for this purpose. Thank you, Sarah, for inviting me. My name is Marissa Downs. I'm the Director of Education at Southeast Michigan Construction Academy. I was a public school teacher for 20 years myself. I taught in Waterford schools. I taught 4th and 5th grade, and I left teaching this past spring. So I'm new to this role, and it's bringing some interesting new experiences and new challenges. And I was told that I would have some crossover experience working with young children and coming into this role as well. And I have had some funny experiences that have oddly reminded me of elementary school. So I appreciate what you're doing, and I know how difficult and challenging your roles are, especially at this time. So thank you for spending the time here with me this morning. Feel free to contact me anytime. I'll make sure to share my email address and contact information again at the end of the presentation. We love to work with high school counselors to help students find their path. So I'd like to first spend a moment echoing some of the points that Sarah hit about why the skilled trades might be a great path for your students and why we feel they're a great path. So we know there's a high demand. There are potentials for great salaries and for growing within the industry. Here's some interesting things to think about. Currently, according to the National Association of Home Builders, there are 200,000 vacant positions. And they would like to have 500,000 more workers. So we're vacant, but there's also a deficit. 91% of contractors are experiencing trouble recruiting skilled workers. And I'll tell you a little bit more about our school coming up, but just to get us started, our school, Southeast Michigan Construction Academy, is the affiliated training institution for the Associated Builders and Contractors. And we represent the non-union side of the trades. Last week, we had a board meeting. Our board members are all contractors. And something very poignant that they discussed was they can handle high gas prices right now. They can handle the increased cost of materials. They can handle all of these multiple challenges that are being thrown at them. But what they can't manage is the fact that they don't have enough people to hire. So that's where we come in. We need to get those people on the pipeline to our builders and contractors to fill all of those positions. So there is a great potential for salaries in the construction trade. This comes from NCCER, National Center for Construction Education and Research. So we don't offer all of these trades, but it's just a nice reminder that these students can make a really great living for themselves. One of my favorite electrical instructors, who Sarah met when she was here on one of our school field trips, Big George, we call him, Mr. Caller. He's an electrician, and he likes to tell his students that if you're not making 6 figures, you're being lazy. So that's just kind of something interesting to think about. And I know that I hear frequently of our students who are maybe, in their 4th year of their program, making $40 an hour. That's not including overtime, pulling into school in nicer vehicles than any of us have, and they have little to no debt. So there's great potential for salary and earnings. We also really like to emphasize for our students that there are potentials, huge potentials for growth and an upwards career path in the trades. After trade school and after completing a program, entering the field, of course, you're kind of a beginner. If you were an electrician, for example, and you have your journeyman, your salary is going to go up. As you gain more experience, you may decide that you want to be a foreman, a superintendent, a site supervisor, an estimator. There's all sorts of opportunities to continue growing within the construction field. And recently I was at the Livonia CTE program, and there's a teacher there who I think illustrated it very well for his students. He said he wanted them to think about it this way. During the first part of their career in the trades, they should be using the part of their body from their shoulders down. And during the second part of their career path, ultimately, they should be using from their shoulders up. So yes, certainly those jobs can be very physical in the beginning, but a lot of people progress to, wanting to have more leadership or ownership positions. So why SEMCA? So as I mentioned, Southeast Michigan Construction Academy was developed along with the associated builders and contractors. Our school's been around for about 30 years, but initially it was designed to train non-union side of the trades, to train the workers that our employers needed. And over the years, it became open to anyone who wanted to join. Within the last 5 years, SEMCA has grown from about under 200 students to over 500 students. So we are growing very quickly. We have industry credentials. We offer multiple trades. We follow the earn while you learn model. Our application is very easy and our tuition is very affordable. So I'll talk about each one of those in turn. Also, I'm not very good at viewing the chat while I'm presenting. So if there is something that comes up in the chat that you'd like me to stop and address, please feel free to turn on your microphone and just shout it out. So we are a state of Michigan registered apprenticeship provider, and we use nationally recognized credentials. Our accreditation comes from the National Center for Construction Education and Research, also known as NCCER. The credentials our students earn are portable, they're stackable, and they are nationally recognized. We exceed the Department of Labor apprenticeship standards. And our program, we don't have any elective courses. Your students won't take anything other than the classes that apply directly to the trade that they have chosen. Currently, we have 4 trade offerings. We offer an electrical program that is a 4-year apprenticeship program. So the state of Michigan has some pretty specific requirements for the electrical trade. So those students earn their seat hours, their educational hours with us, and they earn their on-the-job hours with their working under a master electrician. The other trades that we offer are carpentry, which right now is a 1-year program, welding, which is 1 semester, and we also have an HVAC tech program that is 4 years. We are always looking to expand trades or to, a lot of times for our employers, we'll customize training for things that they need for their employees. So, you know, these 4 could certainly change and expand even before the fall starts. As Sarah mentioned, our main location is in Madison Heights. We're 14 Mile and John R area. We also do offer classes in Lapeer, Monroe, Grand Blanc, Westland, and Adrian. So we're really trying to hit our Southeast Michigan region. Classes are held in the evening, and they are led by master level instructors who are excellent professionals in their trade, many of whom are still working during the day. And they're so passionate about their trade and about bringing up the next generation that they come to teach at night. Our classes are twice per week from 6:30 to 9. So students are either in a Monday, Wednesday class or a Tuesday, Thursday class. So then that brings up the question, what are they doing during the day? So we want and need students working in their trade during the day. So in order to have that happen, we do have some job placement services. We can help students tailor their resume. We have a jobs list where we share student information with our ABC member companies and work really hard to get them placed in a job so that if they're studying carpentry at night, they are working as a carpenter during the day. We also do really encourage and coach students in doing their own legwork and finding employment. It's not something that we can guarantee. Our jobs list does not guarantee employment. So we help them strategize what companies they can go visit, where should they send their resume, who should they be calling. I know Grace in our office often tells our students, show up at this office, bring 2 cups of coffee and a box of donuts and your resume, and introduce yourself. So we're helping them get out there and find their job, but they do need to work during the day during their trade and come to class in the evening. And those 2 things together really just plop them in the field and help enhance everything that they are learning and all the knowledge they're accumulating. So our application process is easy, and I'll tell you a few things about that. Our students do need to be 18 years old. They need to have a high school diploma or a GED, driver's license or state ID, and a social security card. Those are the things they need to apply on our website. We do not have an entrance exam, so that's one barrier that can be taken right away for them, and we do not have a wait list. We will tailor our classes based on how many students we have. So when we start having students apply and register in early May, that will help us figure out how many classes we need, and we'll be building classes right up until the first week of school, depending on what we need. Students don't need any prior construction experience. We do teach them what they need to know from the very beginning. So even if they've never, worked with power tools or never even, helped out around the house with projects, they don't need any prior construction experience. We do also offer OSHA 10 classes so that students can earn safety credentials. And like I said, our beginning construction knowledge is built into our curriculum, so students can come to us as beginners. Our application is online at our website, semcaschool.org. And it's, as I mentioned, a very easy application process. There's no fee to apply. Once online, students would suggest their campus location, trade, and the day that they wish to attend class. We are opening application on May 2nd, so very soon. Tuition and financial aid, as Sarah talked about, there's, we're not in competition with college or community college, but we just want to, acknowledge that there are different paths and they do have different costs attached to them. Obviously, we all, we went to the college path. There's nothing wrong with that. I went to Michigan State. I'm big Sparty, go green. But it's expensive. And, sometimes if students aren't wanting to go down that path and spend that money, we want to make sure that they have other paths available. So there's two different ways to look at our tuition. There's a self-pay tuition and there's a company-sponsored tuition. So if students are working for one of the companies affiliated with our association, an ABC Southeast Michigan member company, then their tuition is paid for by their company. And it is at a slightly less rate. So that is really, an excellent way to do it. If a student's able to get employment with an ABC company, their tuition is paid for. If they are paying for themselves, tuition is still very affordable. For example, if a student chose carpentry, which is a one-year program, that tuition would be due twice, once at first semester, once at second semester, and that would be a total of $3,800 for that 1 year. If a student wanted to do a one semester welding program, $2,200. For our 4-year programs like electrical and HVAC, they would follow this 4-year schedule. $3,800 the first year, $3,400 the second, third, and fourth year. So still a total of $14,000 for lots of education, training, and working all of that time. So really, our students should be accumulating little to no debt. We do offer lots of scholarships. We have many generous private donors. So in this fall, I expect that we'll be offering probably 50 scholarships for our students. And typically those scholarships are $1,000 scholarships. We do have some full ride scholarships, but most of the time they're about $1,000. So there are lots of opportunities for students to earn funding that way. And as Sarah mentioned, we are, it's tricky with FAFSA. We are a Department of Labor institution, not a Department of Education student. So our students are not eligible for FAFSA funding. If you know anyone at the federal government who might be able to change that for the better, it'd be great if our students could use that funding and apply it for this training. Currently, they cannot. We do have a relationship with a local credit union who provides some low interest loans and is willing to work with our students, even those who don't have credit. I just saw in the chat, do you help place students during the day if they cannot self-pay? Yes, we do. We have our jobs list, students provide resumes, we help them work on their resumes, and we share their information with companies on our list who are looking to hire. So yes, we do help them with job placement. We always say we can't guarantee it, and we want them to work also to find a job, but we certainly do help. Okay, I think I forgot to take that slide out, and I already covered that. So in summary, skilled trades professionals are in huge high demand. Our tuition is affordable. Our students can accumulate little to no debt. The earn while you learn model allows students to start gaining experience in their field immediately and make connections between what they're learning in classroom and what they're doing on the job. Our students can earn excellent pay in advance in their field. They experience high job satisfaction and pride in their work. So our website is semcaschool.org. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. And Sarah, you mentioned a resource for exposing your students to the trade. I also wanted to share one that I thought of while you were saying that. There's something called Build Your Future Fund. I'm going to put it in the chat, byf.org. It's a great site for, again, short videos, testimonials. They have a cool quiz on there, like which trade are you? It's a really great source to use for your students if they might be interested in the skilled trades. And whether or not your students would choose to, investigate SEMCA or another possibility for skilled trades, we are happy either way, because we need more workers in our industry, and one of our missions at ABC is just to enhance the industry. So maybe they'll come see us, maybe they'll go to another institution, and we're happy either way. So the wait list, no, there is no wait list, and our application opens up in early May 2nd. So what other questions do you have?
Do you want to talk to them about the South Lake field trip? Is that
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yes, some opportunities that you have as counselors. A super easy way would be to connect to your students with our website, where they can come and take a tour and see our Madison Heights facility, talk with staff, see our classrooms. If you'd like to organize a group field trip, we have a great opportunity for you. We did it with South Lake High School. They brought 20 students to us, and they spent the morning with us. We fed them breakfast, gave them a safety briefing, and they were able to attend little stations around our school. One station was all about our school and how they might get started. One station was all about tools, and another station was all about the electrical field. So they got to put their hands on things and even bend conduit pipe. It was a really great experience. If you're interested in something like that, I can definitely, we can work together and arrange an experience that tailors to your students.
Yeah, Marissa, I just want to tell you, everybody, they rolled out the red carpet. These students got hard hats, they got breakfast, they got pizza, they had a panel. And it was, I had emailed Marissa, I'm like, I got an idea a few months back. And the idea was sort of to recreate the Building Trades Roadshow, but for students, and get them into SEMCA, because SEMCA offers these multiple trades. So it's not just electrical or whatever. So please take advantage of this, you guys. It was a morning only. It was like, I think they came at 8:30 and they left by noon. We targeted seniors. It was a very well done, user friendly, no stress type of field trip. Marissa just her team knocked it out of the park. And they're in Madison Heights, so it's not a long bus ride either for you guys. So please connect with me and or Marissa, and I will help facilitate it. It was pretty awesome.
Yes, we would absolutely love to have more students. That was the first time that we had done something like that. And we're super thankful to Sarah for her partnership. She sprinkled, as I said, her Sarah magic on it. But it's a really great experience if you have students who have indicated that they might be interested in the trades, or I would also challenge you to consider students who maybe aren't necessarily interested in construction, but they're just really not sure they want to do, just so we can, share an experience with them and maybe help them think of something.
Marissa, do that link in the chat. I don't know if you pressed enter or not. It's not showing.
Oh, okay. Let's see if because I'm just doing it for Robin. For Robin, you got the link 8 times. So that's why. It's byf.org. And that site is associated with NCCER. It's just a really well put together site. It's, you know, I think very engaging and a really great resource for your students. It's about all the trades. Do we have older adults entering the program? We do. Most of our students are, I would say, between 18 and 25, but we do have career change adults coming in. So it's not uncommon.
I can't say enough good things about SEMCA. So I know they will host your students. I've called and say, hey, I have a mom and a son, or I've had personal family members, and Marissa, they treat them as if they were their own child or student and give them the 4-star treatment to make sure that they feel comfortable. And the fact that there's no wait list, they don't need a job to get in there, and they spend that first semester with a lot of ground level skill set. It's like a little bit of a pre-apprenticeship semester. So I just think the world of them and the work that they're doing to support our graduates. Just because we're at the end here, I just want to remind you that you're going to sign out 9:30 or later. And also make sure that you remember Kendra will send you the sketch application where you put your pick. You get a couple days to do that. I'm trying to work real fast because I know certificate renewal season is coming. So look for Kendra's email, and you'll be able to get that application, that sketch application where you put your pick in. I'm sorry about my PowerPoint. I mean, thanks for listening to me, and no one interrupted me for a super long time. I mean, it's not as flashy as Marissa's. I'm more of the talker in the room, but I will make sure that my PowerPoint, the recording, Marissa's PowerPoint, and all those links that have been shared with you all will be on the Macomb Engage website for you to have quick access to. So thank you all for being here today. I hope you learned something. I hope that we're supporting the work that you do. And if you have any, like I said, I had an idea and I called Marissa. If you have any type of career exposure needs that I can do the heavy lifting and partner and bring things to your school, please call on me. It would be my pleasure to support this work in any way I can. And I know Marissa feels the same way.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll hang on to the meeting. If anyone wants to hang out and ask a few more questions, I'd be happy to do that also.
Awesome. All right, the link, the sign out links there. Otherwise, we'll leave it open. Have a great day. It's nice to be in the presence of all of you today. We'll see you next month.